Hello, my fellow cigar smokers, and welcome to Smokers Pod. We are doing Night Owl again. Tonight it will be the Rocky Patel Decade. Nice box pressed Robusto stick, and you might wonder why the hell I'm smoking such an old stick. There's a story behind it, and I will tell you while smoking it and talking a little bit what happened in the last couple of days, weeks, and so on. But you know, as always, first things first, let's get this bad boy lit. Just a sweet smell. Some undefined sweetness. Well, very easy to draw. Also sweetness. It's such a long time that I smoked this stick the last time, so I have absolutely no clue if it back then, if it was good, bad, or whatever. Let's figure it out. So guys, I'm just came back from the Czech Republic, from Prague, actually just today. By the time I'm recording it, it is Sunday. A few minutes after midnight. Maybe you watched the two short clips I did while I was in Prague. And I wasn't very creative with the naming. I just named them Cigars in Prague and Cigar in Prague. But, you know, funnily enough, clicks increased pretty fast, so maybe I hit a nerve with cigar smoking in Prague. I don't know. Oh, very good start. Good smoke output. Sweetness is there. Little bit of pepper. Which is not such a big surprise, since binder and fill is coming from Nicaragua, and the wrapper is an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper. Dark and oily. Nice. Prague was wonderful, man. Fifth time. Stopped counting, but I think it was the fifth time been there. Maybe the fourth time, not quite sure. But you know, the old town centered around the so-called Old Town Square. Really, that is, for me personally, that's one of the most beautiful cities in Europe. It's the vibe there, the people, the buildings, everything around. It's just such a beautiful place. Always love being there. And this time I actually traveled with my best buddy, which you maybe saw in the Cigar in Prague episode. It was his first time in Prague, and he was also surprised in a positive way. It was very empty, however. You know, given like the current situation when it comes to traveling and making trips somewhere else, and it's winter. And telling you one thing, guys, winter in the Czech Republic, it's winter. I mean, funny thing was that in one of the clips, I was like complaining about the -3 degrees Celsius, and which is like 20 something Fahrenheit. And I just covered it in the comments on one of the videos. But after I recorded, I thought, man, there's my buddy Carlos, and he lives in Canada. It's my first cigar. Check out his channel, by the way. And after finished recording, I said, man, what will he think about me crying about -3 degrees Celsius? Man, he lives in Canada. It's probably a regular summer day over there. But it's different. I mean, Germany it's getting cold too, you know, but it's a different kind of cold, you know. Over there, man, it's really it's getting in your bones, you know. But you know, in the German army we had a saying that's going like es gibt kein kaltes Wetter, nur eine falsche Kleidung. And in English that means there is no such thing in bad weather, only the wrong clothing. So that was, I mean, I had like a hoodie which was like a little bit more thicker, and I had this very winter vest, so it was okay. And I had gloves and a skull cap, so everything's alright. But you know, summer in Prague is great because you can sit outside smoking a cigar. There are a lot of beautiful cafes and no problem to smoke there. You know, you can take a walk along the river, through the old town, you know, and with a cigar. That's just the tops it. You know, that's just great. God, what are we drinking today? Actually, I tasted a Czech whiskey in Prague. Forgot the name. Oh no, it was like golden cock. Golden cock, and they had different variations when it comes to aging, but you know, the Czech, they have no tradition in whiskey like the Germans. You know, there's also German whiskey, but screw it, man. Like nothing compared to like Scottish whiskey or Irish whiskey. So guess it's an okay whiskey, but not the real thing. What are we drinking today? It's a Teeling Single Cask strength, bottled in 2016, filled 2004, and it's aged in a Cabernet Sauvignon cask. One of my favorite Irish whiskies. You have to be a little bit careful because as it has a cask strength, so some people like to drink it together with a few drops of water. I like it, however, pure. But just careful, guys. Otherwise, it will burn your fucking throat. Cheers. Jesus Christ, that is fantastic, man. I had way too much alcohol in Prague. Like every day. And the only thing I had was White Russian. All the time. You know, we were hitting that pub like every day, every night. Barn Books. Beautiful place. They call it bar and books because it's a bar that is filled with different bookshelves, and in a separate room there's like a cigar lounge. So great place, really. Except for Tuesday, because on Tuesday they have like something called an event that's called Whiskey Tuesday, and it's more or less like you're getting all the whiskey for, let's say, half the price or so. They have like different tiers, that like super rare whiskeys, regular whiskeys, rare whiskeys, and you get all the whiskeys you get them way cheaper. So Tuesday I had whiskey and White Russian. All the other days I only had White Russians, and they were doing it pretty good, really. Way too much for me. That week was crazy, because like let's say since August, I think, when I started going to the gym again and taking a little bit more care about myself, I always like, man, I maybe had like one whiskey per week or one whiskey every 2 weeks or so. So very, very limited. And then all of a sudden you're in Prague and drinking like White Russians all the time. It was wild. That was a whole lot of fun. My buddy Ollie was always drinking one special cocktail, and it's called Good Morning Vietnam.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Funny story about that Good Morning Vietnam cocktail was, let's start the other way around because that's more fun. That Bar and Books has like two branches in Prague. They are in New York, in Warsaw in Poland, and two branches in Prague. And we always visited that one branch, right? But on the second day they said, man, you have to check on Friday. In the other branch there's like live music, so you have to go there and check it out. I was like, okay. So, like from Monday to Thursday, I was drinking White Russians all the time over there, and Ollie was drinking Good Morning Vietnams all night long. And it was coming like it was with gin, with ginger beer, with lemon, and something else, can't remember. Like a very refreshing cocktail with a lot of power, however. So he was drinking like that Good Morning Vietnam all the time. And then on Friday, we were going to that other bar and book branch. So I ordered a White Russian, of course, and he ordered a Good Morning Vietnam. So my White Russian was coming, and his Good Morning Vietnam cocktail was looking completely different, and it was coming in another cup. It was really coming in a cup, and it was hot, and it was coffee-like. And he said, "What is that?" And the lady said, "It's a Good Morning Vietnam." And we said, "No, that's not a Good Morning Vietnam," because like from Monday to Thursday we were in the other branch and drinking like Good Morning Vietnams every night, and it was a completely different thing. And she was like, "Well, I don't know." And you don't want. I said, "I don't want to drink that because I'm not even into coffee. I wanted Good Morning Vietnam. How the other guys were doing it. So go and check that out." And lady said, "Okay, I'm sorry." She was taking the Good Morning Vietnam cocktail back to the bar, and like 15 minutes later, she was coming with the real thing, and she already had that smile on her face. And then she said, "Well, we had no clue because the guy who's doing the cocktail, he didn't know the Good Morning Vietnam at all, right? So he Googled it, and that's the Good Morning Vietnam with the coffee and stuff. But it's a completely different cocktail." So we called the other branch, and we said, "There's a guy who wants to have a Good Morning Vietnam," and he said he was drinking Good Morning Vietnams with you all the time, and it's a completely different cocktail. So what the fuck is it? And then they explained. And then she explained it to us, and she said, "Well, listen, like in December there was coming out a new gin from Singapore," and she showed us the bottle. And they created the cocktail over there at the other branch, and they called it, for whatever reason, Good Morning Vietnam, and that's the new cocktail. But what they didn't realize was there is already a cocktail called Good Morning Vietnam, and it's a different cocktail. So they created their own Good Morning Vietnam, which they only mix it over there. So of course no one else knows what their Good Morning Vietnam cocktail looks like or what the ingredients are, you know. However, they made it, and it was good. It was so funny as he was bringing that coffee thing, and all he was like, "What the fuck is going on?" That's not a Good Morning Vietnam. Well, actually, it is a Good Morning Vietnam. That's the real Good Morning Vietnam. Funny as fuck, man. So, sitting there in that other Bond books, also very nice place. A little bit bigger. I think the lounge area where you're allowed to smoke is a little bit bigger. Um, they're both cool. So I was drinking my White Russians. He was drinking his Good Morning Vietnams, one after another, right? One cigar, two cigars, three cigars. And in the meanwhile, a guy was coming in with two ladies. Uh, and that guy was playing the piano, and two singers, and one other guy was strange looking dude, who playing like the drums, you know. But it was just one trump was looking like a quarter, and he played it while sitting on it, and like playing it. I'm pretty sure there's a name for that instrument, but I don't know what it is exactly. Let's say it's a drum. And I think the two ladies, they're from the Czech Republic, but this guy obviously, given his accent, is from England. And he was coming and saying, "Oh, guys, you're smoking the good stuff, right?" Looking at our cigars, and we say, "Yeah, the good stuff, but you can smoke one too." And I know my voice, and I have to take care, not much time because the set is starting very soon. And I said, "There are cigars out there that you can smoke like a, let's say short robusto, you know, or a small Corona, whatever, and you're smoking like just 15 minutes." I said, "No, I'm just smoking cigarettes." Funny thing, he already had a voice like Joe Cocker, you know, like he's drinking whiskey and smoking cigars all day long. And the two ladies, man, they were fire, very nice. In a red dress, was looking great, you know. So they were going out playing their first set, and we're still sitting in the lounge and smoking cigars. Let's say after 15 minutes or so, they had their first break. First set was ended, and he was like sweating all over, right? So you can see he put everything into his like on stage, right? And he said he was coming in, and he said, when the second set is starting, you have to come out and watch because that will be great. And we said, all right. So our waitress was coming over, and we said, well, can you reserve us? Is there still room out there that we can sit there and enjoy the show? And yeah, no problem. I will reserve a place for your table for you right in front of the stage. Great. She treated us pretty good because we already like spent half a fortune over there for all that White Russians and cigars and so or whatsoever. So very good customers, obviously. So we finished our, I don't know what it was by then, like the second cigar. We finished the second cigar, gone out there, and they started the second set. And playing all the classics, and a couple of songs that I don't know, but very like in a mood like in the somewhere ranging between the 1920s and the 1970s, somewhere in there. Though, and one of the two ladies were leaving then, and just left the other one alone, and she was singing. It was all nice, and the other lady was coming back like half naked. It just was a feather bowler, and all of a sudden it transformed into a burlesque show. It was crazy, and she was dancing in the room just with her like very very small tiny bikini and the feather bowlers. Oh, that was hilarious. It was fun, man. It was a crazy night. And after the second that we enjoyed it really. After the second that we were all going back to that cigar lounge and smoking again. It was funny. And that other guy that like that Joe Cocker dude, man, he was drunk as hell. And he was looking all crazy and was coming to us, shaking hands, and hey, did you enjoy it? Yeah, great. So, like we were his best buddies. It was funny. We had a really good time. Really, we had a good time. It was a fun week. Rocky Patel Decade. Sweet, almost like a sweet coffee, and woody, like cedar wood or something like this. Great smoke. Great construction, good draw, great smoke output. It's around €9. So the story, the decade story. I mean, obviously it's an old cigar, right? And it's called Decade because back in the days, Rocky Patel celebrated the 10th anniversary of Rocky Patel as a brand, and I think he announced a cigar in 2007, but then it took him another 1.5, 2 years bring the cigar out because he had such a long like backlist that he had to deliver and do. So it was like 1.5 or 2 years later actually. So it was the 10th anniversary then, more or less the 12th anniversary. However, good cigar. So it was bring out like I think finally in 2009 or so. And I smoked it back then. But then, not longer, right? My last decade, I smoked it like, I don't know, easily 10, 11 years ago. And it's not a cigar that Rocky Patel Decade, it's not a cigar that's like widely available in Germany. You're not seeing it in a brick and mortar store, so it's not on your screen, right? So we were in that one cigar shop in Prague. Actually, we checked out 3 different stores. Well, actually 4 different. So I will tell you the story a little bit later. So we're hitting that first store, which is in a shopping mall and on the ground floor. Good. They're very well assorted. They have a few cabinets with all different kind of cigars. Rocky Patel, Cubans, Davidoffs, Perdomo. Perdomo seems to be pretty big in the Czech Republic because they have like a whole cabinet just with Perdomo in there. And then one brand it's like only available in the Czech Republic. Forgot the name, but I bought like a sampler box, and I will in a couple of weeks maybe doing a review on Night Owl or whatever. I have no clue how they if they are good or not. They cost around like €7 or so. So we're in that shop, and there's a box and there are 4 Rocky Patel Decades left in the box. And I'm standing in front of the cabinet, and I'm seeing I don't know that cigar. Is that new or what? And Oli said, well, I have no clue. I was asking the lady, her English was okay, let's say okay. And I said, what about that Rocky Patel? Are they new? And obviously she didn't understand very well, but well, we talked a little bit, and then I understood the 4 cigars that are there, that the only ones that are left. Well, give me all 4 of them. I don't know. Really, I forgot completely about that stick, right? So I bought that four singles, Rocky Patel Decade, and I bought that Czech Cigars and something else, can't remember really. And going back to the hotel, and and then a day later or so, we're sitting, I think in the barn books, probably. And I said, man, I still have that Rocky Patel in my, it's in here, and I don't know, man. That's strange. So that was the first time then I was hitting up Google, Rock Patel Decade. And then, like the first result was a shop in Germany, right? Where I used to order a lot, Rock Patel Decade. And then I was reading the description, looking at the pictures, and then the date when they were coming out, and was like, oh, fucking shit. Of course, that's a fucking old cigar, and I just forgot about it. So, that's the story behind the Rock Patel Decade. Now smoking it again. I have four singles over here. They're still available here in Germany, when you want to buy it online. No, and smoking the Decade again. Good cigar, really. And when you're touching it, like, it's very soft. Not too soft. Well, the burn is a little bit shaky. Let me correct that. Good cigar, really. The hotel we stayed in Prague, it's called Corinthia. And it's part of the Kempinski group. And I chose that hotel because I'm a member of their Kempinski, the hotel group. They have not only hotels that are called Kempinski, a lot of other like brands that are incorporated or that owned by Kempinski. And I'm a member of that. They call the Discovery Club. When you're staying a lot in Kempinski hotels, it's worth being part of that program because you getting a couple of benefits. So when I'm traveling, checking out the app, is there a Kempinski in the city? And in this case, in Prague, there's only one Kempinski, and it's not called Kempinski. It's Corinthia. It's like 10 minutes away from Old Town Square in Prague. But Uber is very popular in Prague, so no problem to get there back and forth. So really easy. However, we stayed at the Corinthia, which is, let's put it that way. If you staying a lot in Kempinski hotels, they like really good. It's a really good hotel, right? And that Corinthia is like the rooms. They were like let's say, good standard, right? I mean, they were clean and everything was in there, but it's not the same as when you're staying in the real Kempinski somewhere. That was okay. The breakfast was also okay. One thing over there was really outstanding. Um, they have 3 different restaurants in that Cogintia. One is called just the Krill. Um, the other is called the Rickshaw, and the other is the Lounge 62. I don't know why they call it lounge because it has no. It's not looking like a lounge. However, they call it Lounge 62. So one day we stayed in that. It was, I don't know, like 9 p.m. or so, and we were still hungry, and so we ate in that Lounge 62. Um, and I had a Caesar salad actually, and Ollie had, I think, the chicken teriyaki. And the food, man, the meals, they were great, really good, really good. It was This was about the best thing in that cooking. Other things were okay. So, staying in the Corinthia, taking the Uber, first day, you're always looking for, okay, after you know where you're staying and what kind of hotel, at least me, I'm always looking, okay, where are the cigars shops and is there somewhere a lounge where I can smoke or places where, like a pub where it's allowed to smoke or whatever. And so Prague is pretty easy going. There are a couple of places where you're allowed to smoke. But I wasn't really sure about the shops, because it wasn't so crystal clear. A lot of them are not standalone shops, they're in a mall or whatever. So, first day in the bond books, and first thing I ask is, okay, give me a recommendation for a good cigar shop. And then, like, one of the guys working there, he gave me one address, which was actually the store where I bought this Rocky Patel Decade. So first day, actually second day, first day in the bond books, and the second day we're hitting that store. And I said it was okay store, but nothing rare stuff or nothing special. Just good cigars, a lot of cigars, everything's okay, but nothing outstanding. And though on the same night when we're coming back to the bond books, he asked, "Oh, did you check out that store?" I said, "Yeah, we checked it out. Man, it's cool, Nothing special, but really, thank you. It was a good store. We bought a couple of cigars, all good." And then one of the waiters said, "Well, I have another store for you. You have to check out that one. They have really good stuff, right?" And then, "Oh, okay, great." And the other guy said, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know." But man, I said, "No problem. We just want to buy cigars, so no big deal." But the other guy said, "You have to check out that store, right?" And so the other day we checked out that store, and it was like, I don't know, we have to walk like 2 kilometers, right? And we walked there, and it was inside of an hotel. I forgot the name. So we checked out that store. Old lady owned that store, and it's like they have a walk-in humidor, but it's like you cannot even describe it as a walk-in humidor because you walk in and there's just enough room that you can turn around. Not a second person is, well, she came with me into the humidor and it was like crowded, and it was looking like, I don't know, boxes here. Nothing was sorted. A box of Cubans there, and on top of it Davidoffs, and there Perdomo, and on top of that a half open box with something else. It was looking all crazy. And she was like, "What are you looking for?" I said, "Well, we come from Germany and we're always looking for cigars that you cannot get in Germany. So if you have something," of course she had like nothing, right? Really, there was such a disappointment. However, and obviously she didn't even know what she had in her store anyways. She was totally clueless. It was crazy. And then I found that white Davidoff box. and it's saying exclusive. I was like, what is that? And she was like, I'm not quite sure. I think it's a cigar from Singapore. From Singapore. Jesus Christ, not from Singapore. DFS is. I was looking at the box, and it was not like a couple of sticks already gone. Right, it was a box of 10, and like I think 5 or 6 were left in there. I said, it's an exclusive Davidoff from Singapore. I said, Singapore, right? So it was exclusive DFS, and DFS, it's the DFS group, and they're running like 100 and something duty-free stores and something that's called Galleria. So they in a boutique like shopping malls or high end, and they have their stores in there where they're selling liquor, tobacco, and all that stuff. So I think back in 2016 or 17, Davidoff was made a $300 limited run for DFS, and that's why it's called exclusive DFS. And so I bought the 5 or 6 that she had left. That was the only thing that was a little bit, let's say, special. So that was really disappointing. The other store where the other guy recommended way better, you know. So you have to be careful when people suggesting things. It's really, obviously he had no clue about it. He had no idea what good cigars looking like or whatever. But it was nice anyhow. So it was the second store we were checking out. And then the owner of the Davidoff flagship store in Frankfurt texted me while I was in Prague, and he said, did you already check out the La Casa del Habano in Prague? Because I know back in the days it's a good store and they have rare stuff, and I don't know how it is right now, but maybe it's worth checking it out. And we said, okay, so that was the third store. So the other day we checked out the La Casa del Habano. And I have to say, the place itself is very nice, you know. It's like very long and nice. It's a nice store with nice furniture and nice cabinets, and they have a lot of stuff over there. And they have a lounge area where you're able to smoke. And they have a decent walk-in humidor. But also there, it was crazy. It was just at regulars, you know. Only thing I was able to find was the H. Upmann Connoisseur number 2, which was released last year, and I loved that cigar, but it was sold out very quick, and it's not available in Germany at the moment. So I was happy to find they had a cabinet box of 25, but he wasn't willing to sell the whole box. So I said, well, okay, what can I buy? And he said, well, maybe 10, 5 or 10. I said, okay, give me 10. So I bought 10 Age Up and Connoisseurs number 2. I was pretty happy. And I think I bought something else. Well, Ollie bought like the Monte Cristo Open Regatta. I bought something else. So, and we were in there and smoked a cigar, drinking espresso, you know. And it was nice, but also nothing really special, you know. But it's sometimes when you're not in a foreign city, maybe there are no special cigars, no special place. And it was the third store, and we said, okay, that's it. We bought cigars. Everything's okay, but cool. Other day, and by that time we already visited like the Charles Bridge and Prague Castle, a couple of other things, and so I showed Ollie everything that I think was worth looking at, you know, visiting and stuff. And so that was like the third or the fourth day. We said, okay, what are we going to do? We knew, okay, we want to go shopping one day. I want to buy some stuff for my daughters, for my wife, and for my mother. And he wanted to go shopping for his sons and for his wife, whatever. And then I remembered. I said, you know, last time I was in Prague, I visited the old Jewish cemetery. It's a cemetery from the 15th century. And some graves are even older, because there are graves from, I think, 1340 or so. It's the oldest. It's crazy crazy place. Uh, I I had one photo that I was showing in the, I think in the Cohiba and Prague episode. I'll take a look at it. It's just a 3 minute clip. It's looking crazy. Um, and I said, let's check out the old Jewish cemetery. It's worth taking a look. You can walk around a little bit, and there are also 2 or 3 museums incorporated over there. Let's go there. So, after breakfast in the hotel, taking the Uber, Old Town Square, and then we're walking towards the old Jewish cemetery. And on the way over there, I saw a sign. It was saying like Cohiba Point. Oh, let's check that out. And there was this magic shop. We small, and they had like let's say 10 cabinets, no walk-in units, cabinets filled with Cubans and a lot of rare stuff. I bought the H. Upman limited edition 2018 Partagas E2 and something else, forgot already. Ollie bought something too. It was a great place. That was like, I recommended it in that Cohiba and Prague clip. So there it goes. That was the special place that we looked for, and we found it coincidentally while walking to the old Jewish cemetery. Man, it was funny. Sometimes you just have to walk around in a city and you find fantastic places sometimes. It was one of that occasions. Great. God. Before you enter the old Jewish cemetery, you walk through the first museum. And well, it's not really a museum. It's like 2 floors. On the first floor, the walls are covered just with thousands and thousands of names of people who died in the concentration camps between 1938 and 1945. Though that's already depressing, right? You're walking through there, you have all that names all over the place, and you're just walking through and you think, holy God, that's just sad. So you're walking through that hall with all the names, and then you're going upstairs, and there's, man, and I forgot that. As soon as I entered the second floor, I remembered. There's this one room, and it shows drawings made by kids in the concentration camps, like 70, 80 years ago. Just random drawings, what that the kids were drawing back then in the concentration camp. And it's all different kind of stuff. You see drawings there, and it could have been done by my daughters. Like you see like a lawn and kids playing and like the typical thing. But you always have in mind it's done by the kids in the concentration camp. And then there are other drawings that are shown like people are hanging and soldiers and dead people and all that stuff, and like hundreds of drawings, They were preserved. They found it somewhere, I don't know. It's from different concentration camps, Dachau, Auschwitz, Bergen-Belsen, Sachsenhausen, all that concentration camps. Man, and that place is like, I'm telling you, if you're not made out of cold stone, you're standing there and you think, shit, man. That's really, man. That that room is bringing you down. That's crazy. I mean, maybe it's special when you have kids. When you have kids, maybe you have other relation to that drawings, and maybe you can feel that how they felt back then and why they draw that picture, and it's just you keep on thinking and thinking, and like I said, man, it's really depressive, but I think that's the intention of that place, right? So you're coming out of that museum, and then when you're walking through that graveyard, and man, it's it's hard. It's hard, but I mean, it's part of the history, right? And it's a special part of the German history. So, but it's not a nice thing to think about that period of time, and about that special period of time and the events that happened back then. And when you're thinking about kids, that just sucks. Anyhow, but if you're into history and that, it's definitely. I mean, you can spare that museum, right? And you can just like walking through the graveyard, and that's a maybe not the right term in combination with a graveyard, but it's a terrific place, because it's so old, and it's it has there's that wipe in there. Maybe just because it's so old, and it's still there, and it's just fantastic. So, out of the graveyard, and then walking through Prague again, and doing regular stuff, and at night, of course, buying books again. Drinking more White Russians in order to forget the cemetery and that concentration camp shit. It was a special day that day. It was still a good day. Rocky Patel Decade, Crazy good cigar. For €9. Definitely worth a smoke, and if it's still available in Germany, it's probably still available in the United States. Don't know, guys. Tell me, did you smoke the Decade? What do you think about it? Did you ever visit Prague? Did you ever visit the old Jewish cemetery? Let me know. Prague is definitely worth a trip. And if you want to have some recommendations cigar wise, check out the 2 clips I did, like that Cigars in Prague and Cohiba in Prague. I'll give you a couple of good hints and tips and things that's maybe worth checking out. So more or less at night I was all about Prague. But just coming back from Prague, that's the things I can tell you about right now. Hope you enjoyed it anyhow, guys. Cigar is more or less finished. Removing the band, the second band, and then probably finish it in the next couple of minutes. Guys, smoke a good cigar. Enjoy life. Visit different countries, different places. For me, it's always one of the most important things in life, seeing different countries, other cultures, meeting other people, and getting all that soaked in. Part of enjoying life. Most importantly, stay safe and stay healthy. And I hope to see you around at Smokers Bar the next night owl next week. There's definitely at least one review, probably 2 coming, and the giveaway. Guys, wish you good night, and see ya.